Welcome back to my sewing room. I'm Kelly and you found me here on Pickin' Stitches, and today I want to talk to you guys about starch. Now, starch can be one of those things that quilters or seamstress or crafters kind of love and hate. It's a little bit like hot glue. You know, some people really can utilize it and other people want to leave it alone. And I know starch is one of those things some people absolutely love and some people absolutely hate. And then there's everything in between, I want my fabric to stand up on its own and fall over like a timber, and the other one to still feel a little bit more supple. And I kind of fall somewhere in between. For my applique pieces, I don't starch those hardly at all. I use I use the slightest bit of Mary Ellen's Best Press. I just spritz it and iron it real quick before I use that particular color to cut my applique pieces. But for other things where I'm doing blocks and I'm doing a lot of cutting on the bias or anything on the diagonal or anything with a lot of pieces, I do like to have some starch so that it has some kind of staying power of its own. So I've been using mainly Stay Flow by Purex. And they have been making liquid starch in these jugs. It was like $3 a container. I would buy 4 or 5 of them at a time, keep them in the laundry room, and then I diluted them and used them as needed. And the way that I like to starch my fabrics is I actually soak them 100% saturated in the water, and then I hang them up to dry overnight. So I usually would do like an entire batch of everything that I'm going to use in my next quilt, and then I just had that hanging up, give it a quick press, cut it into the pieces that I needed. But lately, I haven't been able to find that stuff anywhere. Well, that's not true. It's on Amazon for maybe $30 for 3 instead of $12 for 4. And so for me, that was kind of the kicker. I figured it was maybe just in short supply for a while, so I kind of have been working my way through my stash and been kind of careful about how much I've been using, but I still haven't seen it come back on the market. I've checked lots of online retailers. I might find it for $6 or $7, but this is only 64 ounces, and to be quite frank, when I do an entire fat quarter bundle, I'm going to use every bit of that. So what I decided to do was start kind of tinkering with using starch to make my own homemade starch. Now, this isn't going to be shelf stable like the containers that you pre-buy at the grocery store. You're going to want to make it and then use it relatively quickly. You can make it with distilled water, which will certainly help. And I'm just going to kind of walk you through my process. I've done a little bit of trial and error. I felt a little bit like Goldilocks, where this is way too stiff and this is way too soft. And so I think I finally found a balance that works for me, and hopefully that might help you guys find a balance that works for you. So let's jump right on it. Okay, so this is a really easy recipe to make. You are going to need your stovetop, and then you're going to need some cornstarch, and then some distilled water or some filtered water. So I'm just going to start with 2 cups of distilled water, and I'm going to turn my stovetop on low, and then I'm going to mix in my 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. And this doesn't have to be super precise, but so then I'm going to mix in my 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. And the first time I made this recipe, I did not let it stay on the stove for very long at all, maybe 3 minutes. I just kind of barely heated it up, and the results were quite lackluster. They really didn't feel like I had starched at all. So I do like to cheat and use my coffee frother. Of course, really well cleaned, so I'm not putting coffee in here. And then I'm just going to give it a good whisk and let it stir up. And what I ended up doing, the first time I only left it on for a couple minutes. That wasn't long enough. The second time, I have to be quite honest, I had it on a middle temperature, fairly low, and I forgot about it and walked off. And when I came back, it was simmering quite, I wouldn't say excessively, but it was definitely simmering. Most of the water was still there. It hadn't boiled off. And then I let it cool. And when I let that cool, it was really quite thick. So I think from now on, that's the process that I'm going to take. And then at the end, after it has cooled back down, I'm going to add another equal part of water. So if it was 1 tablespoon to 1 cup, I would add an additional cup. So this time I made 2 tablespoons with 2 cups. So after it simmers and starts to cool back down, I'm gonna add 2 more cups of water to let that be my mixture that I use. Okay, and I will show you a pullback shot of my setup here in a minute, but I just keep a container that I always use for starch, and I go ahead and throw whatever I want to starch in there. Now I do separate out the colors because I have found that sometimes blues or really dark colors and reds can bleed, and you'll even see it in your starch water. So even if it's a Moda fabric, I don't care. I'm surprised at how many of them do continue to bleed just a little bit. Now I just pour my starch in over the top and I let it soak. Sometimes it does take the fabric a minute to absorb it, so I give it a couple minutes and usually come back. I almost always have somebody who needs something in this house that I can go run and do really quickly. But then I'm just gonna kind of flip it, get it nice and saturated. And then I don't like to wring these out just a ton because I find that those wrinkles can stay in it, and once your starch has dried, then you end up doing a lot more ironing on the flip side, so that's never fun. So always peel it open, make sure that it's gotten saturated all the way through, and it looks good. And I'm just gonna hang this up on this lower rack so that it can drip dry into my starch. And then I'll put a funnel on it and put that back into my container. Okay, so here's the pullback view of how I set up my drying rack. You know, I would suggest if you're going to get a rack like this that you grab a white one, because this one shows all the old starch from the other one. This is just our little sunroom here, and I usually can take over this space and let things dry and nobody messes with them too much. So I would let that dry overnight or for a day and then pull it back into the sewing room and take everything back apart. Okay guys, so the final results are in, and this is the piece that I just did. And as you can see, it still has a little bit of give to it. If I pull it on the bias, it still has a little bit of stretch. I like to sew with fabric that has a little bit of movement, but if you're looking for something a little bit stiffer, can you hear that? It's like hitting the bottom of it. It's almost like the 1998 Rocky Mountain jeans that would just walk away when you got them from the dry cleaner. Anyways, so this one is at a 1 tablespoon to 1 cup of water ratio, and it's really sounds like paper. And the one that I sew with most of the time is a little bit softer. It still has some movements. I don't think you can really hear it anything at all compared to what it was. And I know some people love to sew with fabric that doesn't have any starch in it either at all. And I feel like it just kind of slips and slides and stretches a little bit less. And so it's keeping itself a little bit truer. But then if I have a little gap and I need to kind of make it work, I can make it work if I've got it with this medium starch. So if you have any other tips and tricks, any other ideas on how we might make our own starch until some of these products come back online, I'd love to hear about it. And if you like seeing these tutorials and these videos that I've been doing, it would really help me out if you would like and subscribe to my channel. And other than that, I'll see you guys next time.